Hello everybody, welcome back as ever to Building Blocks, where we program Minecraft mods live on camera and watches things go kablooey, because they often do, because this is Minecraft and it can't stay stable for 5 seconds. And tonight is gonna be a little odder than even usual, because I have an issue. And I don't have a straight, clear, forward kind of explanation or resolution to this particular issue, so I'm gonna rubber duck off of you guys. Reverb echo? Oh? Voice what? Huh? How? How even? You don't... You saying this like a reverb on me? Is that what I'm getting? Correct microphone. Is it better now? As I guess the next question. Very echo? Really? It's not better, or it is better? Oh boy. What is going on these days? I don't know. Thought you were doing a bit for the intro? Oh god, no. Check headset mic. Headset mic should be off. Should not be active in the slightest degree. But who knows? We'll find out. Okay, headset mic is now disabled outright. Sound as though you're in a fishbowl. That would suggest it's my headset mic, wouldn't it? But that shouldn't be getting in at all. There's no reference to it in my settings here. I also don't know why it decides to do this, like, every time I boot it up. Because generally speaking, things, like, stay the same. Nope, no reference to it there. Reverb's still there. Huh. How very bizarre. Literally nothing should be able to hear this right now, at all. What about the camera mic? The camera doesn't have a microphone, it's a DSLR. Very strange. Let's try to figure what else might be the least bit responsible here. CJ! Hey, welcome to Lying Fixes Technical Problems, apparently. There's apparently a reverb, and I have not the foggiest why. Bad luck for your stream mic setup? Little bits, Aluka. Right, is it manageable? Is it something that folks can deal with? Is, I guess, the more specific question. It's not a Twitch stream without some tech issues. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Not even a little bit. Dealable, but also very obvious. Yeah. Alright. Let me see if I can actually just, like, preview it. Just send that to the headphones. Nope, that sounds... That sounds about right. Oh, there is a very, very, very slight reverb. Huh. Curious. Okay. What in the heck? What is causing that, I wonder? Nothing is repeating my audio. Sounds vaguely auto-tune. Yeah, I get that. I'm not entirely certain what would do that, even. It's only receiving one microphone input. The camera has no inputs. What about the other cam mic? I mean, it's not inconceivable, but that should have been disabled like years and years ago. Let me have a look here. Let's see. Nope. That has been disabled for a very long time. TeamSpeak isn't open. What? What do you mean he's gone? What do you mean? Luca? What do you mean he's gone? Question marks in chat does not help me here. Is it actually just that a couple of people have their, is it actually that Aluka has, like, 2 tabs open? Yep. Okay, it's on Aluka's end. Right, okay. Aluka might need to refresh then. Because if anybody's hearing me properly, that means Twitch is hearing me properly, which means everyone should be hearing me properly. Anyways, so, the past couple of weeks, we have... Oh, your headset died! GG, Aluka, GG. Still have reverb. I have no earthly idea of what is causing that then. It's very strange. Is it maybe my sound settings over here? No, everything that looks fine. Don't know. Okay. Lately, this past couple of weeks, we've been working on wing cosmetics, and we have managed to create butterfly wings. But we've been working on dragon wings, and dragon wings have been proving quite a bit more difficult for the simple function that they are membranous, which is to say that insect wings, for the most part, we can make like this, and they can look fairly okay with just flat textures being moved around. This is just for finding out if the Euler angle also have the problem. What? I don't follow what you mean there quite, I suppose, but anyways. I see. Right. You want to go to the overhead cam to see what happens there. Well, allow me to finish my explanation real quick. So yes, butterfly wings, dragonfly wings, most insect wings we can do very cheaply, very easily, just by using flat textures like this. But when it comes to actual membranous wings, as well as like feathered wings, basically anything that actually changes shape mid-flight, Minecraft, more or less, cannot do it. So that's why the Ender Dragon's wings are a flat static texture, and then that's why the Phantom wings are just flat cubes, but yeah, it's why also the chicken and parrot have just cubes. The chicken's ones aren't even connected to it. Like, yeah. I can't believe that's a bug that's like stuck in for so long, but anyways. And the only way that we can actually fix that is to add a feature that Minecraft doesn't actually have inside of its base model rendering, which is the capacity to make a changing shape with a static texture. Meaning we just texture the membrane, and then we put that onto a shape, or most commonly a trapezoid, that flexes according to the motion and animations of the model. And I'm glad to say we're very nearly there, but we do have some bugs to fix. So my inventory's a complete total mess, wow. So, these squares here are meant to reference the endpoints of these digits. So we've got the start of the wing here, we've got the bottom of the wing here, and then we should have these on all of the digits. As you can see, we are very, very close. But, what we've got currently working is matrices. Matrices are effectively a grid of n, or being the usual term, n, like by n points, and you can use those to accomplish very complex transformations, such as moving to a position and turning and moving along to another position, and then you can take that and apply it to a point, and it will perform that translation and rotation all in one multiplication. You can literally do basically anything via multiplication if you can use matrices. So tonight, you guys are basically going to be my rubber duck as I walk you through how to use matrices. Most people, including me, will probably have no use for these, nearly ever. But sometimes they come in handy, and they're a neat thing to know. So, yeah, if you're watching a programming stream on Twitch on a Tuesday night, I'm gonna presume you're maybe a little bit of a nerd. So, hopefully you find some need for this. But first, I have slots, too. How do we sound over here? Do we sound better or worse over here? Do let me know. Same reverb? Okay, so it's probably something to do with the microphone then. Not quite sure what to say other than that. I can turn this down, and that'll at least make the reverb slightly less overt. But I hope it's not something breaking. That would be very bad. Especially because I cannot afford to replace this. Okay, right. Yeah, I forgot. It's new. New pin. Anxiety Fox saying heck. Okay. 20 slots. As requested. Also, the strange jaundice on an extremely old webcam. The HD7, the Logitech C920 is still pretty good as far as quality goes, but it's just like, yeah, it's not meant to be like a high quality webcam, but it is a very good quality webcam for its price, and it remains so, despite being about as old as my career. So, suddenly quieter. That is me on the actual volume control of the microphone. So, probably still very much having some issues there, but okay. Swish. Right. 1. No, that was both my knees. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we go. Hair real long? Yeah, hair real long. Hair also dire need to die, but one thing at a time, play that. Right. That was not a really easy test for whether or not it relates to the headset mic. Let me hear that. It has been real long since 2004, I think. Real long. Minecraft does have a matrix class, which, for whatever godforsaken reason, is chiefly client-side. So, almost every function in here is client-side, which means that you can only use them client-side. Why? I have no reason whatsoever. I have absolutely no explanation for it. So, consequently, I've been making my own. Which might be part of the cause of my insanity this past couple of weeks. But, okay. This is most easily described in Excel. If you're getting into programming, Microsoft Excel, it's meant for spreadsheets, but it is actually like very basic level programming, and it lets you see data as you're using it. So, we are working in 3 dimensions, which means we need at least an order-free, matrix. Ideally a 4, just because it gives us slightly better control of scaling. And those initialize much like this. So, just all of that. That default setting, by the way, which is the 0s and the 1s like that, is called the identity matrix. And it is more or less where every single operation starts, causing, just making sure things stay stable where they should be and like change only where they need to change. That kind of thing. Okay. Now, let's say we want to move something 4 points up and then 3 points down the x-axis. For that, we need a translation matrix, which is, again, starting off with just that, just the identity matrix, and 4 points in 3. There we go. That is a translation matrix. Straightforward. Now, in order to move this matrix according to that matrix, i.e. to translate the matrix, we have to multiply the matrices. And that requires getting, for every single point of the matrix, the dot product. I'm aware I've just said a bunch of stuff that to an amateur or someone who's very new to this is going to sound quite overwhelming. And don't worry, it did to me as well. Until I remembered my classes from university about 5, 6, 7, dear lord, 8 years ago. So, the dot product is fairly simple. We just take every value along here, and every value down here, and individually multiply them together, and then add them all. And then we do that for every single one, moving around as we go. Okay, so, we want that times that, plus that times that. You can maybe see the pattern that's emerging here already. That times that, and that times that. And so already we've got the correct value here. We haven't changed this at all, it's already just 1. Okay, now if I just make it so that these values are actually locked to the correct places, then I can just copy this whole thing and it will happily refer to the correct places. Okay, so now our multiplied matrix has moved 4 points on the y-axis and 3 points on the x-axis. Now you can see actually, if that I, for instance, put a 3 here, this just rolled up to 7, which means it is adding the translation. So far, so good. So we can see that we can actually cause these things to function like that. And I'm just going to put 3 to 4 there. Okay. So reverting this back to being an identity matrix and giving us some numbers there to start off with. Let's say that I need to scale it. That's fairly easy. We just change the value here, so let's say put that to 2, and then that becomes a 2, and when we are converting this back into a vector, we just say that times that, that times that, all of these things according to their scale. And there we go, we see that the y-coordinate has doubled. And we do the same here, change that to a 9, and because we have made this a 4x4, we can actually just do it here as well. It affects everything. That's one of the benefits of doing this slightly higher than you actually need. Okay. things get considerably more convoluted when you start to do rotation. But something to remember here, quickly before we get into that, is that multiplication with matrices is asymmetric, which is to say that you only get a given answer going through them in one direction. If you go in the reverse direction, you get a different answer, which means, fundamentally, that you can actually encode a sequence of operations into a matrix and apply them in order. It also means matrices have a huge issue with order of operations, which is to say you have to do things in a certain way if you want the right output. But we'll get to that in a bit. So, first off, everything when it comes to rotation in matrices is done using radians, which is equal to degrees times pi over 180. It's a deep mathematical thing as to why radians even exists, but I'm not going to get into that just today. But fortunately, pretty much everything, including Excel, has a function to convert radians and degrees. So, straightforward already. Now, pitch, yaw, and roll are the three traditional axes of rotation. You can think of them as being pitch is up and down, yaw is left and right, and then roll is like turning and tilting to the left and the right. Those are called Euler Angles. That is related to an old mathematician. But you just need to know them as pitch, yaw. That's about it. Now, because they actually operate on different axes, you have to do them individually inside of the matrices. You can make a matrix for all three of them individually and then multiply that together and give yourself a general rotation matrix, but for the most part, you do them individually. So for this occasion, we're just going to demonstrate by showing this as just a yaw rotation, just say left and right. If you rotate on the yaw axis by 90 degrees, by full quarter turn, anything that is pointing down the x-axis suddenly is on the z-axis, the y-axis being up and down. That is a thing called a Gimbal Lock, and it happens as well at other higher angles more severely. And what that basically means is that after a certain point, the system doesn't know what direction an axis is. It's a huge problem for helicopters, let me tell you. But you can overcome it by doing what's called a quaternion. Almost no one knows what a quaternion is, so don't worry about it too much. A quaternion is a very convoluted and complex mathematical principle that you will chiefly only ever actually learn about in, like, a master's mathematics course. Everybody else just, like, waits for those mathematicians to make functions that generate them and then plugs them into their stuff. That is it. So don't worry, I'm not going to be explaining quaternions. So right now, I'm just going to be showing Euler stuff here, which has the Gimbal Lock issue, but is good enough for the majority of purposes under most circumstances. So, for rotating on the yaw angle in a matrix, we need to have the cosine of the radians here, as well as here. And then we need the negative of the sine radians there, and the positive of the sine radians here. Now, it is worth noting that which one of these is negative and which is positive determines which direction firmly on the y-axis a given amount is going to turn us. This, I believe, is the clockwise orientation. But if you flipped the actual like polarity there, you would get it into anti-clockwise or clockwise, assuming I'm wrong. But who knows? But okay. So let's just get our values back here. See where we went. Okay. So, remember I said that order of operations was very important in matrices in general. you may notice that we have taken a vector of 340 and we've ended up with 040. That is because you generally tend to do rotation, then translation. Otherwise, things get quite weird. Things get quite weird regardless when it comes to this stuff, but regardless. Let's just rename that to red. Because rotations are red, man. I'm never saying that again. We could theoretically do almost everything we're trying to do with just translation, but because we're trying to match the rotations of a model, we need to know rotations so we can just offset by that, because otherwise we'd have to calculate a vector based on it being in certain orientations, and that would be a massive headache, suffice it to say. But anyways, so let's clone that to there, change this back to the identity matrix 3 and 4, and rotating on the y-axis, we have now gotten 0, 4, and 0 again, but we have different numbers over here. Considerably different numbers, in fact. Because notice that, we've got a 3 there. That wasn't there before. Is this actually... have I organized this wrong? Here's my next question. Pretty sure that's correct. Yep. Is somebody here got the wrong angle? I think so. I'm not sure. Well, 0, 4, and 3 is the chief thing that we're looking for there, so that's fine. Because that means that we've gone from being on the x-axis to being on the z-axis. If we multiply that by 180, we get the negatives again. So all good. All goody gumdrops. So, then the hard part came of actually coding all of that. For reasons beyond even me, I also programmed this so that it can theoretically be more than an order 4, but you can also have asymmetric matrices, which is to say that they have more columns than they have rows, or vice versa. It's quite common to see a vector, a 3-dimensional vector with just 3 values represented as a single vertical, a single vertical matrix. But don't worry about that too much. So, we just have the 16 double values in here. We initialize it as the identity matrix, so we just always have access to that. And then we have functions that will multiply, divide, as well as add them all together. Division is fairly straightforward. You just have to get the inverse of it, which is the matrix, and every value in the matrix, like under 1 is the denominator, like 1 divided by every value of the matrix, so effectively, is called the inverse. Now that lets you divide by a matrix. You can add, which is very simple. You just add the values in the matrix. And subtraction is the same thing, but with the opposite, the negative. There we are. Which, exactly what you would imagine it is. It is just every value minus. Fairly straightforward. Translation has to be these values in here. That last row that doesn't really get multiplied, it just gets fed normally. Then there is rotation. Did I set this up right? I did. I just gave it necessarily different values there. Okay. So, to get it as a vector, we take this and we multiply it by the scale, which evidently might be a bit on the wrong side. I'm not 100% certain, but that could be responsible for why our values are being weird, come to think of it. Why don't I just get rid of that and see if it fixes our issue there? Because one thing I've noticed is we are like 99% of the way to having this working perfectly, except that for whatever reason, when we rotate the matrix by the same radian value as the point of the wing, it moves by more than that. And I'm not sure how that can be, but it might be related to what the vector is being multiplied as on the way out. Pitch is also kind of messy right now, but the rest of them generate actual circles, so that's good. That's what we're looking for. Completely mystified, but understand the gist if you type this and I type this and model does that. Gotcha. But yes, if we tell a matrix rotate, then translate, and apply that to any other matrix, say another translation matrix, then it will create a offset position that's then rotated around the offset position, and then offsets there. Which is exactly what we want. And no, it is not that. It is definitely not that I was giving it the wrong value there. Okay. Because we're still getting weirdness here. But yeah, you can see that these, you can maybe have at least work out that they are in fact rotating around this central point, which is good, that is exactly where we want them to be. How they're ending up down here and performing this wiggle, I don't know. Flying ostensibly has access to some degree of an explanation for it, but it is very inside of proposals on kinematics. She hasn't been able to dig it out yet, and I don't have access to that kinematic code, so I can't dig it out either. So I've just been frantically googling implementations of a matrix rotation, and hoping that was correct. And thus far, I haven't found anything. Just there was like a tell everything is perfect. Everything should be absolutely fine. So it is very strange that is all happening. But yes, we see here's how you rotate on the roll axis, here's how you rotate on the pitch axis, and it is just it's fairly straightforward, it's fairly rote. It's basically just which values you put the cosine in, which values you put the sine in. Fairly straightforward. But it does change up a fair bit how things work depending on how you're doing it. Quaternions can be converted into a matrix, which you can then just multiply by. And that is what we are currently doing. This is how you turn a quaternion into an order 4 matrix. Don't ask me what the heck is happening here, because I literally just ripped this out of the model renderer. I still don't honestly to 100 know, but this is literally like we're using the exact same thing. This is the code that is used by Minecraft to identify where different parts should be after the exact same process that we're trying to emulate. For whatever reason, it's going wonky. Now where's that part? Transform according to the matrix 4F in Minecraft has an internal value referring to the normal. Exactly where you see that? Couldn't quite tell you, but it is in here. And that relates to the forward direction of like by default the forward direction is along the z-axis, I believe positive z. But then as you rotate that changes, and that is apparently used somewhere inside of calculator rendering. So who knows? The echo increase. I literally touched nothing. I have literally touched nothing. If the echo has increased, it is some dark magic. But do let me know. I guess. I will say this machine is not doing great. Elemental has been having pretty much daily problems. Lots of things are crashing now. Lots of things are causing freezing now. Lots of things are taking forever to happen. And there's also more things like you'll notice that there is occasionally when I boot up whilst we're doing these things, there's sufficient flag that actually cause my stream to shut off momentarily. There is a thread in the Discord regarding specking up a new machine, but between the standard costs of computer parts and shipping and the various global shortages resulting from a number of factors, and also crypto, it is not achieving. So I'm probably going to be doing multiple donation drives this year to try and get that fixed. The sooner the better. It is a very hefty number, and I still rely on donation streams and such organization. So keep an eye on that because I don't. No offense to Elemental, I don't know the last year. Anyways. Where was I? Yeah, this is how you apparently make a paper turning into a matrix. And it's what we're currently using. It seems to work for the most part, but sounds like the echo when you talk and hear the echo of your voice from someone else's mic. Literally nothing else listens to me. I got nothing. That makes no sense whatsoever. Anyways. I don't know why these values aren't identical. It feels like there's a scaling issue somewhere. So one thing we can do is dig into the model renderer class and see if there's a point where the angles of rotation are multiplied or divided by some other value. That's about the only place I can think of where something creep in that would cause it to do that. By rote, these should just be static values that get modified outside by our model animation, for instance. But it's not inconceivable that something's going here. So let's see. Got the boxes, rotation point, which is for right now that's kind of our car point. The car big with the hand here. Or when you think this thing like move off. It doesn't seem like anything is in that respect. Rotation points are divided by 16. That's because models are running 1/16 scale. Which means that 16 points inside of one model equals the size of one block in the rest of the world. No, I don't see any rest of that at all. That's just everything rotating itself. Yes, but we've identified that my voice sounds funky apparently today. I don't know why, because literally nothing is referencing it in any fashion. So it's just being funky for the sake of being funky, apparently. Yeah, there's literally not even anything else that's providing audio, so I don't know what's going on. I've disabled the headset mic. I've disabled the other webcam mic. The only microphone, there's literally one functioning microphone. So I have no idea what is going on there. It's very strange. Very strange indeed. Everything's perfectly fine. I don't know. Not a clue. But okay, right. Wonder if it'd be good for us to build a matrix. This is doing it in an opposite direction to how I was doing it before, where it wasn't making circles properly. I turn on the membranes to actually render, then you'll be able to see kind of the progress made in regards to this system. I've also condensed things down to a very simple function here. Just here is where the texture coordinates are, here's the points of thing, and does it need to be mirrored, which I don't think works currently, but that's kind of technical problem to get the whole thing to work out. So, blank. Does everybody sufficiently understand matrix math, or do I need to go into more detail? Yeah, I suspect the audio problems tonight are somewhat a symptom of Elemental being on the way out. But okay. So yeah, as we can see, they are attaching correctly there, but the angle is off, to say the least. There is another thing that we need to do tonight, and that is to actually make the rendering of the membranes more robust. Because right now they are constructed as a pair of mated triangles. Which is to say we have one like that, and then one like that, and we just glue them together, and that gives us a square. Because of that, when we move things around, when the membranes flex and bend such, they tend to do it along that joining point that goes diagonally through them. To do that, like to make that a bit more robust, it actually needs to be more of a mesh than an actual square. Which means we need to break down the membrane into a series of calculated cuboids and render those opposed to their scaling and how much of the actual texture there are. Which will be not unhelpful, but will make things be a little bit more flex than fold, effectively. Which is important for a number of things, including some animations of this particular. My brain's some animations of this particular. There we go. Yeah, you can see the edging, nice there. Fitting quite nicely. Everything lining up. Over here is fine. Except it doesn't quite know where this is because it's up here. So it's doing weirdness there. But it's doing well. It's very close. I just need to find out what is going on with that multiplication. But we've got everything else working, so that's good. Okay. So we need to alter how we render these texture planes. Because we've got this number of positions and vertices inside of it, and those are paired to where there is a texture reference. So here is a point, but here is a point on the different like corners generally, and those correlate to specific points of the texture document. We can use that as a gradient by iterating through them, measuring the distance to each, and then averaging that across. So let's create a sheet here. Let's say we've got 4 points for our thing, and we'll say that the values for those are let's say 0, 0. Be top left of your texture. And then that'll be point A. Thank you, Excel, for formatting that. Let's just A, real points. And I believe C would be the one that's down here, bottom right. So that'll be our max values, as it were. And we'll set up 6. In which case, this should be about 0 and a 0, 6. Okay. So based on where we can put things. We can determine the actual value that is more or less corresponding to every single point in the texture inside of that space. So we just 0, 6, and then here we have 6, and then we have 6, 0, and 0, 0, 0. Okay. So we need to calculate it such that here would be 0, 3, here would be 6, 3, so on and so forth. And I will explain how to do that in about 10 minutes when I get my phone. So go grab yourself a snack, take your meds, not another bag in about 10 minutes. welcome back, everybody. A nice break there. So, as we went on to our break, we were trying to figure out how to take a single cube, or a single square to be exact, in three-dimensional space, and convert that into a mesh of many cubes, or squares, in three-dimensional space, so that our texture bends more like we would expect it to bend, as opposed to folding along one particular mid-joint of the triangles. I think we can get away with this by doing what's called a weighted average, which is to say that we measure the distance between the different points in our vertex here, the positions, and then from that we can calculate our intermediate points, and from those calculate the distance from each individual piece over the maximum, and figure out from there how much each one is contributing to it. I think that will do one of two things. It will either work perfectly or make everything into circles. So we're going to do a little bit of a test first with that regard. So let's break things down so we only have to do one value for the time being. And we'll say that, let's see, put that on 12 and that on 9 and that on 4. So the closer we get to D, the closer we get to that value of 4. And at D should have just 4, and vice versa for A 12 and such. Okay. So we then Okay. So the maximum distance for 12 would be 0. Or 12, I guess. My brain may have melted slightly today already from what it's made. So I apologize in advance if I stumble over basically everything. Graphics program was a significant chunk of my degree back in the day, and it very nearly cost me my degree. I should tell you exactly how good I am at graphics program. Right. So that should be that minus that. Or I guess this is our distance, so that should be that over that. And we want just stuff up there. That's exact values, which my was. And let's multiply that by association value. Yep. And then the coordinate looking for at that particular point is there. Okay. Forgot to click this. We haven't been spending a lot of time inside Excel just to make sure we get it right. Fantastic. Oh, we got some values here. Yep, that. definitely not cooked. That's the value of... Cook up that value in there. Minus that. They'll be much cooking today. Probably if I had made these very good. Of a nice, clear and concise way to log this. Because the problem is, whilst we are drawing something that's fundamentally rectangular, we're not necessarily drawing a rectangle. So we can't just measure it by distance from A to B and A to D. As straightforward as that would be. Could we establish a map? I wonder. If we enact a grid, so we've got 0, 0 there, say 5, 10 there, 9, 6 there, and 4, 8 there. Then we can reasonably assume that the midpoint between these on the outermost edge is going to be halfway between them. That then gives us a grid line that we can work along to identify what each individual point should be. I think. So, if we take... Well, that should be 2.4 by that token. That should be 2.55. That should be... Let's see, 6.5. And... Negative 2? No. 7. Generally speaking, you don't have you don't generally tend to have decimal points in textual coordinates, but it's fine because we can convert those coordinates into float value anyways. So we don't need to worry about that too much. Let's see, 7 and 8. So if we are along the vertical axis here, or x, then we're halfway between 2 and 7, which would be 4.5 and 6. No, 6 was good with the one here. Which actually is 6 by sheer coincidence. The actual value is 6. Huh. Weird. I don't know how I did that. But okay, so that would give us, from our initial 4 coordinates, a grand total of 9, which is nice. That'll significantly increase the amount of flexibility that we have. I think maybe want to go a step higher than that, though. Like, do we want to go another roll higher and say 18? it's relatively trivial to add more points. Relatively. I'll go check this now. Okay. Okay. We are missing 8 points there. Okay. No, that's free. Okay. Just steadily increasing our awareness of where these things are, then allows us to calculate their relative distance along the axis. I think. This is not my area of expertise. This is not something I have ever coded for. So. Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of life, I think. It's been genuinely almost a decade since I've coded anything like this. Right now it's just straight up look. We actually calculate our position on this medium, intermediate points, I guess. Right, had this ahead of time, so it's well. Not gonna be needed. Okay. So what is the percentage over here of x to y? So this is our x-axis, and that's y-axis. Believe is reverse actually. Then we call that times plus that times minus that. I think this might be a little off. This is 0. We're trying to go from 0 to 1. Hey Shadow, and yeah, there's an echo tonight. We don't know why. There's literally one active microphone on this entire machine. It don't make sense. Here as I can tell, there is nothing else around that should cause this, but here we are. Here we are. Signs I need to get this machine fixed to my place. Equation we want 0 to be 0. So anyways, we can put what's that? So it'll be volume, I guess. And what? X. That's y. And repeat that for vertical. Okay. So by calculating the distance along these different axes, we can calculate exactly what the coordinates should be at each individual point. Grand. Which would give us a mesh of 9 by 9, so 81. 81 points. Not to be confused with 81 squares, which it would not be, but that is a little bit more complicated here. Either way, we're ready for that. Just work out this part. So we need to go from 0 to 1. 1 to 0, wait. Let's lock them up so we can actually use them properly. Let's find out. Yes, good. So what happened here? Yep. So that is correct because everything on this line should be 0. But it should be scaling to 4. is a slight problem. We got 0 to 6 as well, which is also incorrect. Was I on the right track when I was thinking distance? Maybe I was. Okay, right, let's try and come up with something that's a little bit more easy to understand here, by which I mean trying to come up with something that is actively going to try and explain itself to us on screen. So, we have our 4 vectors coming in A, B, C, and D. We have our 4 pieces of information that tell us the exact square on the texture that we're looking for. So, let's print out exactly what should we be wearing. Let's try and arrange this as... How do I describe this? Let's try and arrange this as a grid of 64. D, top left equals position A, right equals position B, fairly certain that's the correct arrangement of them. Okay. And then we want to arrange this as... Well, we want to determine the intermediate points between top left and top right. So, let's have ourselves a map of vector 3D to pair of integers. Okay, and then inside of that, we're going to start off by putting top left with the values of min, x, and y. So that's our first point. That's correct. I'm probably wrong, but that's fine because this is a proof of concept at the moment. Okay. So now between those points, we know exactly where the different coordinates are on the vertices. So we need to calculate an additional bunch of points to figure out exactly what's where. I made these flips as well, but for right now it's okay. wish I'd gone. I really wish I had flat, regular shape here, but this is what we've got. This is what we've got. We use this though, we can actually convert this into memories once we're done, and then have ourselves a nice visible thing on the screen. But okay. So as we go through and calculate the distance between these points, we can determine their influence on each given point as a ratio, and then they'll generate our new points. I think. Okay. So for... how do I want to do this? Let's just try and iterate between top left and top right. And then maybe say the bottom right and the bottom left. And then maybe work out the top and bottom rights. Really wish I should just matrix this by now. Oh well. So, as lying fumbles and struggles to figure this out, the vector, well, our base vector is just going to be top left. Our offset vector, wait, no, that's not right. Vector equals trouble is that I think the way I've done this is a little bit backwards. I think. Because our vectors aren't necessarily arranged in a regular shape, but our texture definitely is. Bust out pen and paper. I might actually have to do this. I might actually have to figure this out on paper. Which, believe it or not, is a healthy thing. Okay, well, if that's the case, that all of our vectors work out the same thing. Then we can work this out quite a bit more easily. I think. Yeah. Okay. So, okay. Next question, how do we calculate the vector points there? Because again, those are three-dimensional, and we don't necessarily have to arrange them this way. God, I wish I had a visualizer for this. Of some description. Definitely are right between. There's that. I might actually need a matrix for this. This is just lying, frying your own brain on camera. Slide barely. Just draw out exactly what it is I'm thinking of. Not that one. Let's get going. Just so you guys at least know what I'm trying to describe. Because I feel like I maybe have gone all over the place in the last half hour. Okay. So, let's just throw together a quick and easy grid. Right. So there is the grid that we are attempting to assemble. This is 8 by 8, which is to say that we have a total of 64 inside of it. All of them bounded by 4 different points. The problem that we have is that these points at the bottom may not equal the points at the top, causing the whole thing to become a trapezoid. And we need to know exactly where every single point on this grid aligns to that trapezoid. So actually, knowing the distance does not necessarily give us an exact model of where it is. Does that make sense to everybody? The 4 people are watching, and the 2 of which maybe have the slightest clue what I'm talking about. Does that make sense? Not perfect, but you get the idea. And to make matters worse, these two may not even be level. So this one might be closer to that one than it is to that one. How do we account for that? We have 4 arbitrary points. How do we know where each point is on the texture in between? If we break it down into halves, at least, which means we could quadruple the number of planes being involved. There's that.
Alright, let's bring that.
That part, relatively straightforward. So, vector 3, mid, left, equals position A, and position B, C. Top should be, yeah, should be C. Position C, subtract, position A, scale, and make a scale 0.5. Okay. That gives us the point middle on the side. Okay. Now I've got all of those points. What we can do is, instead of just adding that, now we need to work out what these different scales are. The logic of the size X is always going to be, the sizes are always going to be halved. So, top left to mid left to mid, I guess would be the next step, wouldn't it? To which I definitely got this wrong. Top mid to shape. Then mid left. Mid Y, size will be size X over 2, and size Y over 2. And then we have top left to top mid to mid, which I don't currently have, but we'll have in a hot second, to mid left. Put her in and keep this dot texture width and texture height. middle of all 4 points should always be equal to that. Okay. So then, again, and this one wants to be. I guess I wouldn't be an X under, don't I? Top left, we then have top mid, and top right, got mid right, and bottom right. Top mid, top left, mid left, mid. Okay, so the one we've already written into it is there. That one. That would be mid X and mid Y. Size being size X O2, size Y O2. And the positions are top mid, right, which apparently I did not calculate here, but oh, I know it's there. That might be good. Mid right and mid. This one wants to be mid left, mid, bot mid, and bot left. And then for the final one. Doesn't want to start with mids, just do it. That's good. Once mid. Mid right, bottom right, and bottom middle. Okay. And that should be from one square made out of 2 triangles to 4 squares made out of 8. So let's see how that looks. Let's see how this looks, and more importantly, see if it destroys anything. It's not going to be precise, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, ready? That does seem to be flexing better. Still doing weirdness because we haven't fixed that part, but that does look better. As weird as that may be to say, looking at it, that does look better. Okay, let me fix something up real quick here. I'm just changing that to 8. Because whatever is happening with the rotation, it seems to be slightly more than twice, so if I halve it, it gets fairly close to accurate. Not accurate, but close to accurate. How does that look? What do we think? So there isn't meant to be that line there, but it's a start. That is flexing much more naturally. No weird folding going on, it's just much better. Okay. So I still need to figure out what's going on with rotations, causing this to have this weird offset point, and also make sure the other rotations where the arm is intersecting right now because it says 0 on yours, so it's flying flat against the back. But that does look a lot better than when it was just the 1. Now in theory, if we make a function for this, we can repeat it n amount of times, because now we can turn 1 square into 4 squares, and with that we can conquer Facebook and the metaverse. But we can just subdivide this continually, effectively. So that each subdivision is 1/4 of the overall texture space of the subdivision. But for that, I think we need a little bit more work to it. Still, that is good progress. Let's just do the words. So yeah, that's where we subdivided. So let's make a private void add subdivided. Which is more or less taking the exact same inputs here. But instead doing all this. Down here, let's say the one going from, let's see, body and subdivide. Now we can compare. Okay. Evidently a little bit of texture targeting I need to fix up. But you can definitely see a difference in how these are handling. Very nice. Anyways, I'm gonna take my last break of the evening so that my eyes don't melt out of my skull. And I will see you in 15 minutes. See you then. Right, everybody. Welcome back. Final hour of our evening going, and we have thus far managed to take our original membrane code and subdivide it instead of one two triangles. It is now four made out of eights, which makes it flex in a way that makes more sense than it previously did. Previously, depending on which vector we're changing around, it would just kind of have one half into nothing, and it didn't work quite right. And yes, Dave, I know the audio is double. I don't know why only one microphone on this machine is actually like functioning currently, so it doesn't make any sense to the audio tracks. But there are because this machine is dying. So apologies. We've been dealing with that all night. The gremlins went how bad the echo is. I'm doing my best. Okay. I get it. There are audio problems. I can't fix them. They don't make sense. But there's only one line of audio coming into this machine. It is this microphone right over here. And somehow we're getting twice. Twice with a delay. Makes no sense. But this one is disabled. It's not doing anything. This will be deafening you guys. That microphone is not doing anything. However, it is also disabled. It has been disabled as long as I've overhead camera. So where a second audio line is coming from, I don't know, but it is. Anyways, I have just done a quick retexture. Hopefully make this subdividing process look a little more overt. This is the bargain. Twice the line. Yeah. Yes. It's one of me, but we're slightly out of sync on either side of you. Turn on every single microphone and lean into it. No. How am I going to explain matrix multiplication you guys are deafened by a chorus of me? Only slightly more frustrating. Earlier on in Luca trying to help fix it. And then Lucas' headphones died, and they thought that my sound in general just cut out. So that was a weird one for a hot second. Okay. So there we can see exactly how this is flexed. This is one section. That's another. And that's another. And you can see here we have no green whatsoever. Here we have no green because these are triangular. But if we change those over to being subdivided, we should get the green back. It's weird looking, but it works quite nicely. This will ultimately mean that we have a much more reliable translation of square texture or not square geometry. Which is important because we want the wings to continue to look like wings that are changing shape. I need a new machine. I need like 1,400 pounds, and then some. There we go. Now we've got the green back. Ta-da! Okay. Now every piece has all four colors because it's now actually able to recognize that it should have all of these different points inside of the shape that's being given to it. This is the power of subdivision. I've just genuinely spent 2 hours, hour and a quarter, reinventing something that Pixar had implemented in the 90s. But considering that I absolutely suck at graphics programming, I think that's pretty good. everyone see the change? Can you see what the positive is there? Means we have the entire thing actually in there, even if it's fitting into a triangle. So now the only thing that we need to fix to have these wings properly working is this rotation issue. There is no real explanation that I can find for why using the exact same rotation, in the exact same metric radians, we are ending up with different points. They're in the right direction. They're in the same relative volume, I think, but they're more than twice as far for the same amount, and that's resulting in these being off. And that means that we can't attach these things and reliably have to attach the tips of like digits. But once we have that, whole thing's good to go. Basically, we can just animate it and texture it. Job's good. But right now, lying is the only person I know might have a solution to this, and it's in Flying's code, which I can't see or access very much on the wing's energy levels to dig it out, and Flying and I have a very similar kind of problem when it comes to that regard. So yeah. Right. I just undo that. Rewrite it back. Overwrite that. Put it back in. We should have this across all three. Oh yes, the ding that you heard whilst I was off my break there was me putting together this so that I could figure out exactly which coordinates. Because before it was flipping one of them and it didn't make sense. So I had to go in and figure exactly which coordinates should have the right here. But now it's sorted. Hence why it looks still good. It's a very simple thing we've done. Ish. It's a very simple thing if you're looking at graphics, which I'm not. So I'm calling it a try. I've invented subdivisions for Minecraft. That's a weirdness. That's a lot different. Huh. Well, now we have dramatically tattered wings. I guess. Gonna have to figure out what's going on with that. Oh well, it's fine. I threw it together. It's fine. Guess I want to put those back. Then do it. Because I apparently am going to need them. At least it's a fairly simple map to make. It's also possible I just have the coordinates wrong, but things I shall dig out after strip. So let's see, it should be more or less that. I think it was like rotated 90 degrees actually. Because green was the one that was missing on one of them. I wonder if that's it. In which case it's probably just that I'm putting these in. Does look he corrects the points. Yeah. That does look to be top left, top right, bottom left, bottom left. it's like rotated 90 degrees. That's interesting. Huh. I wonder how we've managed that. Maybe I got my X and my Y mixed up. I can do it. Well, Brett said that gives me a relatively simple fix-ish. That's transform, rotates 90 degrees, please. This is gonna look weird. Oh yeah, that is fascinating. I'm gonna have to tease apart what's going on there, because that's clearly not working the way that it should. Also not sure why have my things there. Oh well. Because that's clearly not referencing the right parts. I'm going to dig into that. It's possibly related to the fact that it's using integer to determine exactly what the ranges are of the different areas. Yeah, that's clearly got some bugs in it. How well. Yes, Darkheart. We've been dealing with that problem this entire stream. There is one microphone that's active on this machine. Somehow, somewhere, we're getting it doubled. And I don't know how, because nothing is listening to that microphone. Makes no sense. At all. At least this looks nice and block for the moment. If we subdivide the texture, it's rotated 90 degrees, but it works right. Why is it rotated 90 degrees? Is my next question. I presume I've got an axis wrong somewhere. Very strange. Well, that's things that I can dig out. So, hope people enjoyed this. I'll pull the stream here, so you guys don't have to listen to me echoing, and being utterly baffled by graphics code for the next half hour. Let me see my next Tuesday. Where the Madness Crew, some more Deep Rock Galactic, Sea of Thieves, or whatnot. Then on Saturday we have the Carousel, where we should hopefully, fingers crossed, have a final episode memory to discuss. Playing some random games to the patrons. And we'll be back for hopefully the last time when it comes to membranous wings on Tuesday next week. Meanwhile, my maker of comic, everything I do is powered by patreon.com where it's shaping up to be a very rough year. So I very much appreciate any support, you guys. Little as a dollar a month, but at your own whim. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed.